Most people talk about freedom, but very few truly understand what it means. Some think freedom is just doing what you want, going where you want, saying what you want, earning money, traveling, enjoying life. But is that real freedom? Or is that just pleasure in disguise, tied to desire and fear? Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "Freedom is not the opposite of bondage. It is not a reaction. It is a state of being in which the mind is no longer caught in its own projections." We think we are free, but we are mostly acting out of our past, our conditioning, habits, fears, and social rules. A boy raised to believe one religion is the only truth will follow it blindly without ever asking if it's true. A girl told since childhood that her success lies in marriage may never question that idea. So we live like puppets, dressed in different clothes, with different names and beliefs, but all tied to the same invisible string, our unconscious mind. That is not freedom. Swami Vivekananda said, "The greatest sin is to think yourself weak." That weakness is not just about muscles or status. It is a mental slavery, a deep fear of questioning what society has taught us. Suppose you are in a job you hate, where your boss humiliates you daily, but you stay because society tells you success means a stable income and a good title. You may think you are being responsible, but deep inside, a part of your soul dies every day. True freedom begins when you dare to ask, "Who told me this is success? Why should I follow this pattern?" The moment that question arises deeply, without fear, you begin to break the chains that bind you. This is where Martin Luther's spirit comes alive. He said, "You are not only responsible for what you say, but also for what you do not say." Silence in the face of inner truth is also a kind of slavery. It is not enough to fight outer oppression. One must rebel against the inner oppressor, the voice of fear, guilt, shame, and society's expectations sitting inside your head like a dictator. Osho once said, "Freedom is the goal of life." But freedom does not mean license. Freedom means responsibility. He spoke of three kinds of freedom. First is freedom from parents, religion, and conditioning. Second is freedom to create, to love, to be. But the final and deepest is just freedom, as a state of being. You do not react anymore. You are just aware. That awareness is a kind of light. Imagine a person who always gets angry when insulted. He reacts automatically. Is that freedom? No, it is mechanical. But if one becomes aware of the insult, aware of the rising anger, and watches it without judgment, suddenly the energy shifts. You are no longer a slave to reaction. You are free. Let's take a real-world example. Consider Malala Yousafzai, who was shot by the Taliban just for wanting to study. She didn't react with revenge. She didn't allow hate to control her. She said, "You can shoot me with your bullets, but you cannot kill my dreams." That's outer and inner freedom working together. She stood up to outer violence without becoming violent inside. Similarly, Mahatma Gandhi said, "You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind." That's what real spiritual strength looks like. A free mind cannot be controlled, not by fear, not by power, not by money, not even by praise or insult. This kind of freedom doesn't come from outside. It grows from awareness and courage. Jiddu Krishnamurti spoke again and again about the danger of following any authority when it comes to truth. He said, "To find truth, you must go beyond all religions, beyond all scriptures, beyond all masters." He wasn't against religion, but against blind following. Suppose a child is told by parents, teachers, priests, and media that success means becoming a doctor. He becomes one, but inside he feels dry, mechanical, dead. One day he sits quietly and sees that he became a doctor not out of love, but fear. Fear of disappointing others, fear of being seen as a failure. That realization, if deep and honest, can be the beginning of his real freedom. Krishnamurti said, It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. In a world that rewards conformity, those who seek truth must be rebels. Swami Vivekananda, during his speech in Chicago, made a bold statement. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. But their time is up. He believed in universal freedom, not just of body but of soul. He inspired youth to rise above fear, to live like lions, not sheep. In practical life, that means stopping the habit of comparing ourselves with others, or living just to fit in. If your truth is to sing, then sing, even if the world says you'll never earn from it. If your calling is to work for poor children, then go for it, even if it doesn't look glamorous. Freedom is to live your truth, even if it is difficult. Martin Luther, the Reformer, stood against the mighty Catholic Church. In front of great danger, he said, "Here I stand, I can do no other." This simple sentence shook the foundations of religious control. His fight was not just with the church, but with the fear that makes people kneel before institutions instead of truth. We must ask ourselves, how many times have we remained silent just because we were afraid of what people would say? How many times have we betrayed our own conscience to please others? Every time we do that, we lose a piece of our inner freedom. And when enough pieces are lost, we become hollow, mechanical, like robots in human skin. Osho often said that people are afraid of freedom. Strange, but true. He said, "People talk about freedom, but when freedom is given to them, they become frightened. They don't know what to do with it." He gave the example of a prisoner released after 30 years. The man doesn't know what to do with his life. He wants to go back to jail. That's how we live. Even when someone tells us, "Follow your heart," we hesitate. We ask, "What if I fail? What if people laugh?" So we choose slavery with comfort over freedom, with uncertainty. But life is uncertain anyway. Holding on to fake security doesn't save us from pain. It only delays the truth. Freedom means facing life as it is, not as we wish it to be. In your everyday life, look closely. Are you really free in your relationships? Or are you afraid of being alone, so you cling to someone who no longer brings joy? Are you free in your work? Or do you drag yourself every morning just to earn money and survive? Are you free in your thoughts? Or do you keep repeating what others have told you without ever questioning? Start with small things. The next time you're angry, don't justify it. Just watch it. Don't suppress it. Don't act it out. Just become aware. That gap of awareness is the beginning of inner freedom. And once inner freedom starts growing, outer changes happen naturally. You might quit that toxic job. You might speak truth to someone for the first time. You might take a road that society never approved of. But your soul smiles. As Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor, said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." That freedom to choose how we respond is the seed of spiritual awakening. Even when outer freedom is denied, this inner freedom can never be taken, unless we give it away. This is why, when Martin Luther King Jr. walked into jail, he walked like a king. His body was in prison, but his spirit was free. He said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge." Today, with all our technology and education, we are still not truly free. We are addicted to our phones, attached to opinions, driven by image. We post selfies but hide our pain. We chase attention but fear intimacy. We scroll all day but avoid silence. This slavery is deeper than chains. It is psychological. Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence." That means watch yourself, not judge, not fix, just watch. In that watching, something begins to melt. The ego begins to crack. The mind becomes still, and from that stillness, a different kind of action arises, not based on fear or ambition, but from clarity. Swami Vivekananda believed that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That means freedom is our natural state, but we've forgotten it. We've covered it with labels: name, caste, religion, success, failure. Remove the labels, and what remains is silence. And in that silence, there is no fear, no past, no future, just presence. That presence is freedom. Osho used to say, "Truth is not something outside to be discovered. It is something inside to be realized." You don't have to go anywhere to find freedom. You just have to look inside, honestly, and without fear. Real freedom is not something anyone can give you, not your country, not your teacher, not even God. Because anything that can be given can also be taken away. True freedom is when your joy, your peace, your truth comes from within. Then you are no longer a beggar of love, attention, success, or approval. You become sovereign, your own master. That's what Buddha discovered under the tree. That's what Socrates knew even as he drank poison. That's what Kabir sang in his poems. That's what every truly free man or woman has realized. Not outer victory, but inner mastery. As Krishnamurti said, the moment you become aware of the movement of thought, a new intelligence is born. That intelligence is freedom.